pain, chronic pain, exercise, sleep, and just some thoughts on this, given some researchers, big research thing that has been going on in Norway for a long time, Hunt, I think is it's called. And some of the big takeaways, and this is stuff I see in practice as well when I'm working with patients with pain or chronic pain. My accident related work, mostly it's acute pain. There's still some people that have chronic pain issues, and you see some of these things bear out when you have these discussions with patients. Now, the overlying hurdle in all of this is getting the patient to do anything, right? Especially if they're in pain or they're particularly in chronic pain. You're getting the patient to commit to any sort of change in their behaviors is monumental. So these are some things to throw around with them when you're having these discussions. If the person is open to working on changing different aspects of their lifestyle. So some of the big takeaways from some of these years of work that they've done over there and in these Norwegian studies is that regular exercise. So if they're getting people to exercise at least 3 times a week or more, what they will see is big decreases. And they didn't give percentages necessarily, but big decreases in chronic pain, in the incidence of chronic pain with people. So and here's where most people get tripped up, but it's like the exercise isn't even that really relevant. It's more just getting someone who's in pain or chronic pain to commit to doing anything that is that could be viewed as exercise. So that first part is just getting them to that barrier, right? The other part of this is on top of that, and this may seem counterintuitive to a lot of people that are working with folks that are in pain, and probably goes against most things that people that are currently having pain have been told, or that they believe no matter what they've been told, is the more we can increase exercise frequency and the more we can increase the duration of the exercise as we're increasing the frequency, the bigger the decreases in the severity of the chronic pain. So don't think of this as didn't say elimination of chronic pain, but large decreases. So when severity can come down based on increasing frequency and duration of activity, then the person can, that leads people to improve, or at least be able to add more behavior changes and things like that because they feel better. So you have to turn around and get those people to commit in the beginning and get over that initial hurdle. But most of your folks that are in pain don't do anything, or they've decided to stop doing stuff because they're afraid that something that they're going to do is just cause further injury. And I deal with that all the time with the accident folks that I work with. They have, let's say they get rear-ended by somebody, neck is bothering them, shoulder hurts, low back is painful, and they just completely stop if they were exercising before, that's a different story. But if they were somebody who did do some sort of exercise, they'd just completely stop everything after the accident because in their head and wherever they get this thought is irrelevant. That's a whole nother discussion about society and things like that. But they have in their head, I'm sore after this accident. If I do any exercise, all I'm going to do is further injure myself or create some sort of pain or problem that's going to haunt me the rest of my life. And this couldn't be further from the truth, because what I see more often than not is the discussion I have, hey, it's okay to think about this, like take a week or two away from the gym or the exercise, but we got to get back to it as soon as possible, as soon as you can tolerate it. And once I can convince people to get back to their training, whatever that was, what their favorite exercise, whatever that was, and it's just amazing how quick they feel better after I help them through that initial hurdle, that mental hurdle they have around returning to activity because they're not sure what might happen to them. And once I can have a open discussion with them about that, they're not going to create further harm, that we can actually adding exercise back in will improve them faster so they don't have to see me as often or for as long, then people are all jump on board with that more often than not. But that just that counterintuitive idea that most people who are in pain, if you told them, hey, your severity, especially chronic pain, your severity of problems is going to decrease the more exercise we do and the longer that we exercise, that's going to fly in the face of what most of them have ever been told or thought, even though the kind of the literature on these hunt studies bears that out. And the last thing, this is a difficult one for people too, is if people hit 7 hours plus of sleep a night, their pain and chronic pain incidence and severity comes way down. So that's easier said than done. I don't have the solution for all your sleep issues, and I don't pretend to. But if you are somebody who's newly injured or has been dealing with some sort of chronic pain problem and your sleep duration is less than 7 hours, then you're going to be behind when as your body's trying to recover from that issue and reduce the severity of symptoms. So, main takeaways: if you're somebody who's dealing with new or chronic pain, check your sleep, make sure you're getting closer to 7 hours or more, but then finding some sort of exercise that is tolerable for you, whatever that is, and start and get up to that 3 times a week at least. And the more the better is what they're finding. The more training that you can tolerate, even if you've had chronic pain for years and haven't done anything, which I see plenty of that too in the almost 20 years of practicing, getting folks that have never exercised, who are in chronic pain, to finally decide to get out there and do something for themselves instead of relying on the system to help them. Nothing short of a miracle if you get somebody to commit. But if you do, they notice real quick how much their life improves, how much their symptoms come down, and how much less their chronic pain is bothering them and how much less is interfering with their life. So take all that into consideration and think about it for yourself or others, or if you're a clinician, the people you work with. And this is recorded and it'll pop up on my feed later. And there's tons of other stuff on there as well. So see ya.